conference will now be recorded.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the Town of Ennis Commission regular meeting. I'm Mayor Lisa Roberts. I'm going to open the meeting at 6:15 p.m. here. We are trying out a new camera system. And additionally, our clerk is out at a budget training, and so she will listen to the meeting and take minutes that way. So I respectfully ask that when you give public comment or any other comments, that you kind of pause, give your name, so the camera can track you, and then talk at a reasonable rate. So we're able to pick that up and to have legible minutes for that. So thank you very much. So I'm going to do a roll call of the commission. Commissioner Ranson. Here. Commissioner Way.
Here.
Commissioner Hankins. Here. Commissioner Abernathy.
Here.
And Commissioner Hardy.
Here.
And now we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First up on the agenda is the meeting minutes from the February 26th meeting.
I move to approve the meeting minutes. I'll second.
Is there any discussion? Any public comment on the meeting minutes? Calling once, public comment, calling twice. Anyone online, public comment on the meeting minutes? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. Commissioner Ranson?
Aye.
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 Commissioner Abernathy?
Aye.
Thank you. Next up are department reports. Karen is out at a conference, I believe. Did anyone have any, skipping briefly, looks like there was the Montana Poet Laureate was here. The Montana Book Award winner, Chris Latray, reading out of his book, Becoming Little Shell, and they facilitated a conversation about that. There was lots of events in February, Books and Babies, Story Time, Dungeons and Dragons, Library Board meeting, Friends of the Library, Cyber Arts. The author, they have a knit night and a book page, Make and Take Crafts. She has nothing to report on facilities. And I'll be at a meeting with other Montana librarians within the Broad Valleys Federation this week, so in Butte. So that is why she is not here this evening. Let's see. There were 2,548 use and visitors. Public computer sessions was 147. Wi-Fi sessions was 739. Programming attendance was 670, and the community room use, there were 51 events at the library. So our little library does quite a bit. So, is there any questions or anything? Not that I can answer them, but do my best. Okay. Then we have Public Works report. Eric, did you want to walk us through your Public Works report?
Yeah, well, I don't have it in front of me. We did replace a couple fire hydrants that had froze this month. That was all in the report. You know, lots of changing out meters. Most of our time's been spent on that. At least one person pretty much all day. We hope to get a lot more of those going, but let's see what happens.
Okay, what else? Let's see. I have your report in front of us. The water samples were sent in this month and both samples came back safe. Meters were read and follow-up rereads if necessary. Turn off and on water performed by for customers. We had some curb stop locates, daily pump house checks. They replaced 2 fire hydrants with the help of Titan excavation. One was behind First Interstate Bank and one was at Moore's Creek Court, I believe.
Yeah, right at the end.
Let's see. Sewer samples were sent off this month. All were good samples with us being able to meet our effluent discharge limits. They did daily checks at the lift stations. The guys changed an oil in one blower and effluent pump. We rescued a small deer this month that had fallen in into the lagoon. There was still ice for him to stand on. There was one after call, sewer call out after hours, and it was the customer's line, service line, not ours. And they jetted some lines. They on streets, they've kept laying road mix where needed. So,
Yeah, that's.
and they've got
Sorry,
some great pictures.
Next time I'll bring it with me and we'll get
No,
it. Yeah.
I have it right here. It's in the packet. If anyone wants to look on the Google Drive, they got some great pictures of fire hydrants. Yes, Mr. Walmall.
Myron Walmall. What I'm not comprehending, scheduling the grader. What's, to me, I've been around equipment, you put the key in it, fire it up and tool down the road. What's scheduling? What do you have to schedule?
I think that would be a question for Eric. Eric, did you hear Mr. Walmall's question
I mean, we had,
about?
when I say that, maybe I talk about making plans for it. You know, I honestly don't know what he's talking about right now, but
It's on the report,
Okay.
Let me look.
scheduling for the grader.
well, maybe I meant I was talking about it. It's, you know, scheduling, talking about it. Why can't we start making plans for that?
Oh, I think he's just, let's see. Oh, we're making plans for grading this year and also street repairs. I think he's just saying like how many man hours he's gonna need, that kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, so kind of like, okay, hey, if the weather looks good, we're gonna do it this week in May or whatever. Like, I think that's what he means about scheduling. It's not another piece of equipment coming in, it's man hours.
Well, I understand that.
Okay,
But I mean, to schedule our equipment, it's already here, so I mean,
yeah. I think he's just talking about the people doing the work.
okay.
Just
Yeah.
making the plans, Myron, just,
Okay, so that sounds good. A plan is always great to have. Okay. Are there any questions on the Public Works report from the commission?
Where did you replace the hydrants at?
Behind First Interstate Bank,
Okay,
and then one on Moore's Creek Court.
okay. Did you say that and I missed it?
That's okay. That's all right, you were reading the claims, it's fine. There's pictures in the packet if you want to take a look at some dirt holes. And they have to replace the concrete box that goes in there with them. I forget what they were called that, so. All right, any other public comment on the zoning report? Or, I'm sorry, for Public Works, I apologize. Okay, moving on to zoning, we have our zoning administrator, Susie Sprout, and as well as Madison County planners, Cody Markser and Michelle Schrock here this evening. So who would like to go first?
Susie, okay? I sure can.
You grabbed the door
There's a bunch
for
of
me, yes.
My report, it's in the packet. Not much on it. The zone site permit, I did 1, 2 fence permits. Hopefully, we're meeting on Sunday for the T&D for the Long Branch, and then hopefully it'll be ready for you for your meeting on the 26th.
For court, I think we're at 120 citations. I entered the citations, deposit, reconciled end of month, and processed end of month. I was out of the office for about a week during this report. And then on April 7th, I have back surgery, so I will be out for a little bit of time, but hopefully I can keep things caught up. Any questions?
Cody, do you have anything?
Yeah, it's Cody Markser, Madison County Planning. We've just been working with Susie, meeting with developers on different potential projects, reviewing some zoning applications. Been talking about moving forward in the land use. What are the priorities for the town to think about? Specifically looking at your board structure, land use related, planning board, zoning commission, board of adjustment, consolidated board, what route you want to go. And then an annexation policy is probably on your horizon pretty quickly here. Because I think you've got some things coming forward. So you should have that in place first. And then also, as we're working through these zoning applications, we're also kind of simultaneously doing a review of the zoning regs to see what might be working or where some improvements or more details and clarification could be made. So I think those are the things we're tackling at the moment.
Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.
She's
Thank
great.
you, Susie.
They're great.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate them a lot.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Okay. Next one up is the clerk's report. Brenna, as I stated, she is at the she was up in Helena today. The MSU Local Government Center and the Montana League supported a budgeting workshop. So to learn how to do municipal budget. So we thought it was important for her to be there. So she is reporting that this month a total of 54 meters have been paid and upgraded. Additional meters have been paid for and are waiting scheduling for installation. She's processing claims twice a month for us. We are also the bank accounts. We had several bank accounts, like 6 or 7. So we're working on consolidating those. I think we'll keep one for the town, one for Mad Towns, one for the court, I think is what we've determined. So then that way, because what we pay Black Mountain for is basically keeping track of the money in which fund and everything like that. So there's really no need to have multiple bank accounts, and they probably shouldn't be named Jefferson County. So we're cleaning that up. So she helped, we had to prepare a letter for the bank and stuff. Budget preparation. So she's taking that class today. The payment portal, if you all aren't aware, we have a brand new payment portal that went live February 27th for all users. You can now pay your utility bill online, keep track of your accounting, and have just a better look. It's a much snazzier system, and it speaks directly with Black Mountain software, our utility billing software. So when payments are made online, they track in real time to Black Mountain software. So there's no delay there, which is really handy.
Where was that on? I've tried, well, I already got it enrolled, but where do you find the usage?
So, yeah, so it's only going to start. So unfortunately, it doesn't go back. It's only from basically when we start.
Right.
So this month's usage should be on there, and then going forward, all the usage will be there. The ladies at the library have offered, if there is anyone, if you've got a neighbor that needs help signing up, making an account or anything like that, the ladies at the library are offering technical assistance for that. So if you have any questions.
All I was getting was the amount of bill.
Oh, yeah, so it should show you your amount, and then there's a couple of tabs at the top. I don't have it.
The
Right.
options.
Yeah, there's different options to go back and look at your,
I went into PDF and got the same thing, just the amount of the bill.
Yeah.
Not for the.
if you have time, you can come in and Brenna can show you, or the ladies at the library can show you how to do it. So if you need some help.
Okay.
So, or I think Carla can help you.
Not even
It's Susan. So, Also in the clerk's report, Brenna prepared the minutes. She's been working on processing short-term rental licenses and then the new website. So, you'll see in the claims that the invoice for the new website is there. We have transferred, they're working on transferring all that data. We're looking for a go live date of April 14th, about 30 days from now. So that is where we are at with that. Any other questions or?
I have a question on,
Sure.
on short-term rentals.
Yep.
So is there any like minimum requirement if somebody just rents a place out once a year or twice a year, that's still?
So I think how we've been doing it, it's a little tricky, right? Because there are, so it's basically if it's advertised on one of those sites that we're able to do the enforcement of it and recognize. I mean, if someone wants to voluntarily come in and do that, we can do that too. Of course, we would love for people to adhere to the law. But yeah, that's how she's been working towards that, working with owners. There are some owners that still haven't gone. So basically, through our process, one of the conditions is that you have to go and get the inspection from the county, and you have to get that handled first, and then you can come back. Let me just hit, Susie, will you hit remind me later? And so, that is how that is being done. So yeah, otherwise we don't have, we don't have a mechanism for that.
Sure. You know how many we're up to right now?
I don't. I can certainly ask Brenna too. And it will be interesting to see with the Montana property tax thing.
Oh, yeah, because.
Because you had to register if you have a homestead or if you had a long-term rental. I'm curious if the Department of Revenue will end up having statistics on that once it's all said and done, or if there will be a classification on cadastral for, I don't know how they're gonna do that. So, but I will ask her how many short-term rentals we currently have. Okay. Any other public comments on clerk's report? Other questions? No, moving on. Officer Tim, you're up.
Tim Dragonsky, Madison County Sheriff's Office. In the town of Ennis for February, 139 calls for service. Some of the major incidents: theft, forgery, warrant arrest, disorderly conduct arrest, and 2 motor vehicle accidents. There were also two death investigations, which are handled by the Sheriff's Office. 4 traffic citations, 29 traffic warnings in the month of February for the town of Ennis.
Thank you
You're
very
welcome.
much. Thank you. Are there any questions for Officer Tim?
Sweet.
Okay. Thank you for attending. We
You're welcome.
appreciate it. Okay. All right. And then our budget report. So our revenue report is similar to what was last month because we don't get property taxes again until May. So we were able to recoup a couple funds from some outstanding bills on that. And then our expenditure budget is there as well. And then there is the cash report. And it's in the short format. I thought that was sufficient. If you at all, if you want the longer format, just let me know. And I can have Jody can prepare that for us. Any questions? Any public comment?
What,
Yes, Mr. Walmall?
what does the Montana cities and towns do?
So the Montana League of Cities and Towns, well, I can tell you something big they did this month. They went to bat for us over that $175,000 for ARPA funds.
Oh,
So, and currently, they are also doing all of our financials. We're participating in their financial program. And so they're doing all of our accounting. As save for utility billing. Brenda still handles that, but,
Okay.
and they're gonna help us prepare all of our financial reports and help us do our budget.
The name threw me off.
Yeah, so what they do is they advocate, so coming up into the legislature, they advocate for Montana leagues, the sound, cities and towns. So, and actually they put on different forums, and different, like the training session that Brenna is at today. So they also have a couple other, programs. They are also now offering land use planning, and then they're offering legal assistance as well. So,
Okay.
yeah, so they're a good organization to be a part of.
Thank
So, you bet. Okay, so we got that done. Okay, claims.
We'll move to approve claims.
Second.
Any discussion?
The electric garage heater?
Yeah.
Was that for Eric's office?
No, that was for the pump house at the North 40.
Okay.
Yeah, that lift station there, that one went out.
Okay.
Any public comment on claims?
I guess I have a question for Eric regarding the status of his public works office.
It's all done. I'm all moved in. Everything's good.
The only thing we're missing is like a sidewalk or walkway back
Oh,
from
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That's the only thing, but everything else is completed. It looks nice. Did you go for a tour?
When?
Yeah. So. All right. Any other questions on claims? Any other discussion from the commission? Okay, you have a motion and a second. Call to vote. Commissioner Way?
Aye.
Commissioner Hinkin? Aye. Commissioner Abernathy?
Aye.
Commissioner Hardy?
Aye.
And Commissioner Ranson? Okay. All right, now we are looking at public comment and non-agenda items. So if there's something not on the agenda that you would like to address, unfortunately, it's not a Q&A session, but we will listen to your comments and take them into consideration. Public comment going once. Public comment going twice. Anyone online, public comment? Public comment is now closed. Okay, scheduled matters. The Ennis Skate Park folks are here.
Hi, to those of you who don't know me, I'm Erin Leonard. I'm one of the community members who started up this skate park dream that we have, brought some boys with me. We're in a good spot. I'm welcome to answer any questions you might have, but I'm just gonna kind of read through a list of things that are updates as far as the skate park is concerned. So far, our community has helped raise about $253,000. And that is out of a $327,000 price tag. So that's pretty incredible for under 2 years. The kids have worked hard, we've worked hard, and this thing is happening. We have builders who are like, we're coming regardless. If we have to amend the designs, we will, but a skate park will be built. We're breaking ground in the beginning of June. It should take 6 to 8 weeks for it to finish. We have a grand opening celebration in the works. We don't have a date for that yet because we don't know exactly what day we're gonna finish, but we would love for any and all of you guys to come and celebrate this cool new feature in our town. We're gonna have a big fundraiser on April 25th at the El Western, where we have live music, some improvisational comedy, live auction, all this stuff in an effort to kind of fill in the gaps. I've applied for, I think I have 10 grants out there that I'm waiting to hear back on. I feel like at least half of them will come through with something, not worried about the remaining 75 grand at this point. So that's pretty awesome. Let's see. Just speaking on behalf of our board, we're so incredibly grateful to you guys, to the Lions Club, to the community for being generally positive. We've worked really hard and these kids have worked really hard and they're super invested in this, and it's really special and it's really great. And I just really thank all of you and hope you guys will bring your friends, family, or whoever wants to learn how to skateboard to our park and realize that it's an affordable, inclusive, and growth opportunity for any kid and any adult. I mean, I might get out there on a skateboard, who knows? So I'm open to any questions. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything. No, I think I got it covered. So anything from the top? Yes, Corey Hardy?
Am I going to be able to ride my BMX bike on the?
You are, as long as you don't have those pegs on the side, because that can just destroy the concrete that will be laid. You know, so you know what I'm talking about, pegs? Like the things that jet out of the tires. I know you
carry your girlfriend on the back.
Yeah.
It's a Corey Hardy question for you. And I really do appreciate you guys on council. Thank you so much. You guys have been great. And we want to come back at the next meeting if possible and get on the agenda, because I think we'll probably have some more updates if possible. But any questions from anybody? I can answer them all. I'm a good one for that.
So $75,000 still short.
Yes, approximately. Yes. So yeah, and that's with the event still not having
Sure.
occurred. And
There's some things on the runway, but yes.
yes, so everybody crossed their fingers for us. We have gotten an amazing amount of support. The skate park community is beautiful, quite honestly. And the reception in this community has been way better than I actually expected. Skateboarders get kind of a rep for being hoodlums, but that's just not the case. It's just another option for kids to be outside. You know, talk about y'all. I brought these guys. Look at the bravery. So yeah, any questions from anyone? Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get these guys out of here. Oh, yes.
When you guys originally came and saw us, you said that you were gonna have a club, like, once you have it built to do maintenance or
Yes, that's the
painting or whatever.
intention. Yes. We intend on having, well, whatever youth that remains over the next couple of years. Obviously, these kids are gonna age out.
Sure.
And leave the community. They have fully agreed to keep it clean, even in the winter, shovel snow. We're gonna buy shovels, yada, yada. The Lions Club has agreed to let us like store our shovels and brooms and stuff, because it's very, very important that the park stay seamless. Like otherwise there's injury involved. And that's our goal. And maybe, because we don't want to disband, we're going to go from being under the umbrella of the Lions Club once we get this done, because this is so much work, to our own 501c3.
Mm-hmm.
So that maybe we can raise enough funds and kind of work towards having somebody that we can pay to be the person that will sweep or shovel if needed, if we don't have enough community involvement. But yes, it's definitely something that needs to be maintained. Yes, sir.
So I just talked to Richard the other day. Who
Oh,
did
pump track guy?
the pump track. Yeah, told him what we had going on here in Ennis. And he's like, I would totally throw together a design for a BMX track
On and off shoot.
that might be adjoining. And I wasn't sure if you guys actually had.
He's actually the one who told, well, we had talked about that, because originally I think it was,
Justin
not
Edge and
Chris
Parker.
Ward, but,
Justin Edge and
Justin
Parker.
Edge, and yeah, they were thinking of doing a pump track, but they just don't, I mean, they have little kids, and you don't have the time or the bandwidth. But so long as the pump track isn't like this close, because of all the gravel and whatnot can cause injury for skateboarders, it would be glorious, no doubt. It's just, we gotta work together. I'm sure he'd be great at putting a design together. He did a great job for us in BC.
Yeah, he suggested like asphalt.
Oh, yes, which is way more expensive for the record.
Yeah.
But that would be great. Yeah. No, I mean, there's just a little bit of area that can be used. I mean, I'm really excited about this.
Sure.
Pretty cool. Anyone else? All right, let me get these guys out of here before their phones go off anymore. They crack up. Hey, give them a round of applause. For sitting here.
Bye.
You know these kids. Thank you all so much. Thank you, Mayor.
Right. Okay, our next agenda item is draft resolution for TSS and BOD. I think this is just gonna be under consideration this evening, or not an action item. I've talked with Colette Anderson. She is going to, because I'm talking about the range, if you read down through, and then we're looking at the range, she is going to do some investigation as to what are, because these are national standards, kind of across the board. If you read across any town, they all have the same numbers. She was gonna look into what our lagoon was actually designed for. So she was out last week, and I think she kind of hit the ground running, so she's gonna give us a little more detail with that. Also, I believe Mr. John Paddock is online, is that true? Montana Rural Water Systems. And maybe, Mr. Paddock, thanks for joining us. Eric said you were a tremendous resource when it comes to wastewater lagoons. And I was just wondering if you could share a little bit of your knowledge with us. If you're talking, we cannot hear you. One more time.
Volume.
I don't think that'll matter.
Oh, there he is. Okay, we got your picture. Oh, we still can't hear you. You're unmuted, so that should be. Are you muted on your end, maybe? Unfortunately.
Eric, can you hear us?
I don't know what's going on. He's not muted though. That's for sure.
No, he's not. Maybe it's just a microphone on his end. Okay, well, we know that it works, so that's good.
So,
What's that?
it's nice.
So I guess I would have a question.
Yep.
For him, regarding, standards, for discharge into, like agricultural areas versus discharge into the river. Is there any difference? Or is it gonna be, as far as BOD, I guess, or whatever
Land,
Yeah.
the land,
is?
yeah, for land application versus.
Corey, that would make a
Yeah.
huge difference on what you did and didn't have to test for. You know, if you land applied and you didn't have this MP EDS permit that we have, that's just a permit for going into the river. But if you land apply, that just is greatly reduced, greatly.
Sure. Yeah, I figured, I know, like, if we were to use this for our golf course, it has to actually, we have to give it time to dry up completely. So you can't allow access on the golf course until, I think with our current treatment process, it has to completely be dry if we were to use it for irrigation for the golf course. But that's just one of the random things that I think.
Actually, at the mayor's conference, learned that town of Baker does that. So they actually, they're the end use, or it gets pumped up to the golf course or whatever. But as the person with the permit, you're still responsible for what ends up, even though it turns into a county facility, you're still responsible for that. So, and you're looking at, a pipeline and that kind of stuff to go up that way. So, oh.
Can you guys hear me now?
Oh, we can. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Great.
I
Thank
had
you
to
so
log in
much.
on my computer. I was using my cell phone. Now I got logged into my computer. So.
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Oh no,
Welcome.
not a problem.
So will you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I'm with Montana Rural Water, and I work mainly with the wastewater side. I worked in the town of Valier for 5 years, running the wastewater system here. Trying to try and keep it short, sweet, to the point, I guess.
Well, great. Eric said you might have some information for us on just lagoons and how they work, and and a little bit about TSS and BOD.
So lagoon systems they're very basic, but you got to keep your BOD TSS loads to a certain level. If they are overloaded with BOD TSS, they can go to what we call as septic, which means that the system is going to start dying, or overnight could just die to where you have no bugs, no nothing. And since you have the river right there, you could be discharging poisonous water or pretty much raw wastewater into the river, which is what you want to avoid. With Eric has discussed with me a certain, as you can call them, a customer. They are overloading the system as of right now and have caused septic or close to septic conditions in the past. What I have proposed to Eric is adding in a pre-treatment to control that BOD TSS load coming to the lagoon and limiting how much is discharged to the lagoon to try and mitigate how much is going in, because those lagoons can only take so much at a certain time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, is each lagoon, I guess that's the question, is each lagoon probably a little different as far as how much it can handle? And I think that's what our engineer Colette was going to kind of look into, as to what our system was designed for. Or are these the numbers that are found most often in kind of codes across Montana and nationally, like, I think it's the whatever, 200 BOD and 250 TSS milligrams per liter? Are those national standards?
So each lagoon system is designed differently. So the lagoons I ran in Valier are going to be completely different from what you guys have in Ennis. Those standards are set by Montana DEQ, Department of Environmental Quality. They're going to be the ones to set those standards based on design of your lagoons.
So I have a question. Are you familiar with Sheridan's lagoon system, which I think it's relatively newer? Is that accurate?
I am a little bit familiar with it.
Okay, I'm just curious if you were to compare their system with Ennis's system, what would be the difference? Or is there any?
So they're set up for irrigation discharge. So pretty much they're just holding ponds with very little aeration for treatment. Irrigation discharge, they don't need a permit from the state. They don't have to have the strict sampling requirements as you guys do, where Ennis is an aerated lagoon for the first and second cell and then discharge to the river, which is why you have such strict standards on sampling. Does that make sense? Or answer your question?
Yep, and then what did you have in the layer for a system?
Valier, we had a 2-cell system with baffles, so we turned more or less 2 cells into 4, and both cells were aerated. Cell 2 had a complete cover over it for ammonia nutrient removal.
Okay, that's still doing a discharge in an agricultural setting then, correct? Is that?
No, we were continuous discharge to the Marias River, but that was about 30 miles of weaving, winding ditches and canals.
So our numbers of 200 and 250, is that copied from Livingston's or is this ours?
That's you. Well, that was what is currently in our code.
And we don't know
So
if that
those
means-
are, excuse me, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I actually have a copy of our DEQ permit of what we're allowed to, what we need to have our limits at. So it has to be treated to this. So, BOD for our lagoon, our average monthly limit is 30 milligrams per liter. And then total suspended solids is 45 milligrams per liter. So that's what we have to treat it to, get it to, before it can be discharged in the river. Am I reading that right, Mr. Pettit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
then
those are system by system numbers. So those can be a little bit different than someone else. But again, those standards are set by the state.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So what, can you make me understand that 30 milligrams per liter is what our permit states, but then normal according to BOD, according to this, normal is 200 milligrams per liter?
Well, that's where it comes in from households. That's what your average household limit is putting it. And then it goes to the lagoon.
Discharges, it has to be 30.
Yeah, so the lagoon is then treating it to get those numbers down.
Okay.
So, and that's what, like in Eric's report, that's what they test for every month, is to make sure that our numbers match our permit, that we are permitted through DEQ.
We have to have 86% removal on BOD and 65% removal of TSS for those.
So, yeah.
So we test before and after our lagoon, what's coming in, and you have to meet those removal. And it's kind of the same thing with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Nitrogen, all that has to be in a certain limit.
Sure, yes, and I think it was Colette that was gonna look at the numbers of like, okay, if it hits, when we're testing before it hits the lagoon, what can our lagoon handle to meet, to put out at 30 milligrams per liter and 45 milligrams per liter, like what type of, how much of a load can it handle? So that's kind of where I was going with, now that we've got a kind of a better understanding of what it is, and what our lagoon was designed to handle, or how it can function at what capacity it can function at. So, yeah.
So you're suggesting not approve this today?
I think we should just maybe get a little bit more information, because these numbers in this range can vary. So based upon what our, or at least that's what Colette talked about.
Yeah, John, and I agree. I think talking to more people about this, I think rather than throwing numbers out there, it should be more accurately defined,
Yeah.
So we're kind of putting that off for now until we do figure this out, and then we'll bring it back. But I think it's best right now.
Okay. And if you guys need me to come down some more and kind of go over a little bit more in depth, I can do that. It's no problem.
Okay. Are you up in Collier still? Or are you over?
Yeah, I just got into Valier about 45 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for making the time to join us this evening. I know we do have some folks in the audience. If you want, do you want to make public comment?
Yes.
Okay, here's your chance.
Yeah.
Please state.
Matt Religion, with Willie's Distillery. I thought maybe there was gonna be a vote on that today.
I apologize.
I was just going to say, I think that's a little premature, but it seems like everybody realized that at this point, so. Do we have anything we want to add, or we want to see some more stuff? Okay, yeah. So for now,
I'm sorry, I thought we would have more information this evening
Okay.
from our engineer.
so yeah, we just had some holes that we felt were in the resolution and a little premature
Okay.
to be voting on that tonight.
Okay, is there
Sounds like-
anything else in the language besides the numbers portion that you wanted to address?
Okay, I don't know, the wisdom of a resolution that has these surcharges, which, first let me back up, we're totally okay with the surcharge structure. It should be, I think it was called out in the town code maybe 2009. It hasn't existed in it, so, we don't have any issue with that whatsoever. But it should be a little bit more inclusive of maybe the things that are being tested, what's going into the river, beyond, just DODs and TSS's, pH is a concern, ammonias and stuff like that. It just seems a little focused on those two, so I question why it doesn't include
I think,
any of the others.
sure.
If we're all trying to get the same spot, not dump anything bad in the river, it should be considered at least to cover all the things that are being tested for.
Yeah.
So that's a concern. I'll stay away from the number stuff for now. Everything else was mostly numbers, so,
Okay.
yeah.
I think the reason why it was pulled there, and I'm gonna try to pull up our code here.
Well, if you don't mind me jumping in real quick.
Yep, go ahead.
So the reason why BOD and TSS is such a big deal is when that is introduced at high numbers to lagoon, that can cause those septic conditions or cause the system to die, which would then cause the town of Ennis to come up with a couple $1 million to have it all removed. That's why those numbers come into play to keep your lagoon within operational areas. But
What
if
you're,
that gets,
if above or below pH, would that not cause an issue as well? Costly?
I'm sorry.
If you were, above or below your pH numbers or your ammonia levels, would that not cause an issue as well?
That will, but let me kind of get to that real quick. But with the BOD TSS, when that gets introduced to the river, that will cause algae growth, and then you're going to start causing issues within the river itself. The ammonia and nutrient levels will have. Do you guys have limits on those or no?
I don't believe that we
No.
do, and that's what I'm looking at right now. And the reason why
No.
so in our resolution is not an ordinance change. A resolution is just supporting that it says we will have surcharges. So this is if you want to look, it's chapter 10, -4. And so our ordinance specifically looks at TSS and BOD. So it doesn't address the ammonia. So that's what I was with a resolution, we can put those surcharges based on a resolution, not an ordinance.
Yeah.
So, and our
Well,
permit does.
also, with the new permit coming out,
Say again, Mr. Paddock?
once Eric gets his new discharge permit, they could put nutrient and ammonia levels on it to where Eric would have to test for those. But as of right now, you don't. When that comes up, or if it comes up, the reason nutrients and ammonia for lagoons is kind of a tough issue to face unless you have it set up correctly for that. Nutrients in the water, especially if there's someone downstream that pumps from that river for their water use. High nutrients is what causes that blue baby syndrome, or where babies turn blue from the lack of oxygen in the water. As of right now, DEQ is starting to crack down on those two right now for lagoon systems.
And it does say in our permit here, the effluent pH shall remain between 6 and 9. It does say that in the permit, it's just not reflected in our ordinance.
Well,
It's,
I think
it's in our
ordinance-
pre-treatment ordinance. All of
Oh,
that
okay.
is.
Okay.
With, you know, with the
I
goal
don't-
of keeping them.
Sure.
It should be
Yeah.
inclusive, I would think.
Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up.
And then I guess, I got one last thing, and I was reading it off of just the notes from the minutes, from last month, and I don't know if maybe it was a typo or if that's what was discussed, but in the discussion about this, let me find the exact wording, I apologize, it's in here somewhere.
It's kind of like a wall of text.
I had it all laid out just for this reason. It was stated the national household cap is 200 BOD and 250 TSS. I'm just not aware of any national cap.
Oh, okay.
So.
That could have been a typo.
It could have been
A typo. I think
it's worded different in the resolution, just,
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one we're working off of.
Yeah, I think it wasn't a cap, it was more of a
Okay.
standard,
All right,
I think
fair
is what it was, so, thank you for that clarification.
Are the amounts different for businesses versus households?
No, so this is, so 10-4-3, surcharge system for users with excess BOD and TSS. The town or its engineer will assess the surcharge rate for all non-residential users discharging waste with the BOD and TSS strengths greater than the average residential user. Such users will be assessed a surcharge sufficient to cover the cost of treating their above normal strength waste. And then normal strength wastes are considered to be 200 parts per million BOD and 250 parts per million TSS. So it's kind of like they take the average household, and then commercial needs to meet, non-residential users needs to meet that as well.
So every business is facing a surcharge on this. Austin, anything to add? Actually, you're fine.
Yeah.
Is that accurate?
No, I don't think,
Is that
it's not
accurate that
every
every
business.
single business is going to be affected by this ordinance change?
Well, if you are, so this says,
Right.
yeah, if you're discharging and you're being tested,
Right.
yes, there,
You would have to provide test sites for every business and establish those baselines, would you not?
I think so.
I think.
Because
And I'll be honest, I don't think any business in town that is a restaurant, a gas station, a distillery, I don't think any of them come below your cap. With what you got.
Matt, I have checked quite a few and they've all been fine. I've
That's-
checked quite a few just for my own information.
Have a spot to test for every single business at the collection point, not just out of a bucket of stuff you know is bad. It's just, it's going to be a nightmare, the way this is written. But I want to see.
Yeah,
where we're
and
at.
we can adjust it, that's why we're not, yeah. So if there's ways to better word the resolution, we can certainly do that, or look at amending the ordinance as well.
Well, there are other things that can be added too, because restaurants or fast food restaurants, whatever, they should have a grease trap and use it and empty it daily or every night before shutting down. Because any grease that's being sent to the lagoon can also cause issues, or if it solidifies in the line, can cause other issues for other people along that line. So there's multiple
How many
things that
are
can be added to it.
in town?
Every one of them should.
Well, I think everyone should, but how many have?
That's something I'm not aware
I think maybe one. So,
Well, that's where the town of
Well,
Ennis can actually come in and inspect and say,
work that way.
Absolutely.
watch.
I think we all
watch
have a-
the wording, so we don't
Yeah.
end up with a mess, in every, business in town. But the way that.
Well, I think we're all users on the system, so we're all responsible
Okay,
for it.
okay.
So I think that is kind of what, if we're gonna hold one standard, we hold everybody to
And
the
that's-
same standard.
Well, Eric and his crew can also go to these restaurants and businesses or whatever, and they can inspect to see if those are being used, grease traps are being used, what cleaners are being used for the safety of the system. If there's any disinfectants that can kill the bacteria in the lagoon, they can also do research to where it can do the disinfectant for the business, but not affect the lagoon, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's kind of working with each other. So you guys get what you need to get done, but also helping out the lagoon, because having to rework those is not cheap.
Yeah, we're all dependent on it, so we need to work together.
But that was all I had, was just, I just
Yeah,
didn't
no,
think we were
that's
ready
fine.
for a vote.
No. So, thank you.
So,
I would like to have a point of clarification on the permitting as well. My name's Austin Thompson. I'm an engineer with Water Environmental Technologies out in Helena. So on the discharge permitting from the lagoons as well, if you look on the submission sheets, there's different units. There's a pounds per day as well as a milligrams per liter. So the milligrams per liter is strictly just a concentration value. That pounds per day takes into account the total flow as well. So that's your total per day, pounds of nutrients being discharged as well. So, and as that is written, that proposed resolution as well, it seems to focus strictly on concentrations, and there's no allowance for, volume of waste being contributed as well. And I think that should probably be reflected in the surcharge fees as well.
But you may have, when it comes back and whoever.
Yeah, and we
Yes,
can talk with
absolutely.
that.
Yeah,
It was based off of how our current ordinance is written.
Right.
So and it calls for those milligrams per liter focused on that's how the current ordinance is. And that's when we were looking at different ones, a lot of them had that same 200, 250, with, I don't know, we looked at Moore, Darby, Hamilton, Livingston. There was quite a few of them that all kind of had that same wording, which maybe need to be updated.
Which
So
actually, and I don't have a problem with that, because that's a concentration value, correct?
Yeah.
So I mean, if you have waste that's meeting that
Mhm.
concentration, putting 500 gallons of that to the lagoons versus, 5,000 gallons of that in the lagoons is gonna have drastically different results. Because your total nutrient contribution is gonna be far higher with that higher volume.
Mhm.
So I think that needs to be accounted for.
Sure. Okay. Okay, any other questions while we have lots of engineers in the room?
Can I say something before we're done?
Yeah, go ahead, Eric.
And I'm not saying this to be mean, rude, or anything, but the only reason we're even talking about surcharge rates is because somebody asked for them.
And the retreat.
Let's not forget that.
We were looking for a target, Eric, and there wasn't any in ordinance or code for a target other than household level. We needed a target, which is, the surcharge rates is exactly what other towns do. So that I 100% own that one. But we needed a target, just as this resolution is written, without knowing what the system's designed for. It's just not ready.
Right, but the pre-treat ordinance that we have in place
That's
already is.
exactly what we said earlier, right?
Is that right?
The way I read the pre-treat ordinance was it needs to be on file. With no.
I know, it was very general when we did it, and she
Yeah.
didn't put any stipulations, but as long as you're working towards that. then-
Well, now, this is what started it, Nikki, that was my question, how it was written. I said, I understand where you guys are trying to get to. The way I'm reading the pre-treatment ordinance is I can write down what we're doing currently right now and put that on file and be in compliance. But I know that's not what we're trying to get to. Help me understand it. And it's been a nightmare ever since, based on the vagueness of that language. I mean, I'm the one that asked for it. And here we are. So You know, it's so vague that I was like, hey, I know what you guys are trying to get to,
Mhm.
but I can go back to the office right now, right, and put it on file, and I'm compliant. And that's not what you guys want.
Well, and I
So, you know,
agree that when we just hurry, rush, get it done, so we have something in place, wasn't accurate, there was no deadlines, there was no assumed accountability.
Yeah, and so and that was my question was, hey, I can write down what we're doing right now and be in compliance with what the pre-treatment ordinance says, but
Yeah.
that's not what the issue is. Let's try to address that. So.
Well, I think it's with our code too, there's the two parts. So the pre-treat ordinance is, 10-8-7, and then this wastewater is 10-4-4. So it's in two different parts, which makes
It
it.
is, which you showed me
Which
the
is-
last month.
Yeah,
But
so,
when I specifically asked for that, you know, in a letter to Nikki, I was told I was out of compliance with the pre-treatment ordinance, and we'd be fined $7,500 a day. With no
okay.
additional information to where to find that
Sure.
second part.
Yeah, okay,
So, you know, that's how we got,
Yeah.
that's how Willie's got here,
gotcha.
was, you know, it was asked for information.
Yeah.
You showed it to me in a matter of 30 seconds on your phone. I mean, it could have been shared before.
Yeah.
$7,500 fine.
I agree, it's gonna work better as a team if we're working
Yeah,
together.
so-
Yeah.
Just kind of how we got
Sure, absolutely. So, I'm glad that's clarified. And then, yeah, we'll work with Colette. We'll work on some of the language and whether the ordinance needs to be, updated too, maybe, and look at that as well. So, and put some different guidelines. So it's all in one place. So we all know. It's not the only part of our code that is segmented and fragmented. Let me tell you.
Add
So,
stuff on top of stuff, but.
yeah. So we appreciate you being here.
Thanks.
And thank you for the conversation. Thank you, Mr. Paddock. Thank you, Eric. Are there any other comments?
I have a question for, Mr. Paddock. So I'm looking at a capital improvement, proposal that the town, put out there for our wastewater, to acquire some land. Because it was, suggested that DEQ was gonna come out with some higher, standards. So this was proposed in 2006. Last time I spoke with DEQ, they were like, we're gonna have some new standards. That was 3 years ago. Do you suspect or have any information on DEQ standards being increased anytime in the near future?
So what I've heard from DEQ and other operators around the state that are slowly starting to get in their new permits is, yes, they are starting to raise those standards, but right now DEQ does not have a, I guess you can call it a wastewater manager there to approve those permits. That's why it's taking so long. Once this all gets taken care of on their side, I can probably within the next, not this permit cycle, but maybe the next permit cycle, there will be more strict restrictions on it as far as the nutrients and ammonia removal goes. Does that answer your question or?
Yeah.
How often is the permitting cycle?
They're done every 5 years.
Well, this permit was expired in 2019. That's the one we're still working on.
I'm working with systems that are still running on 20-year-old permits because they haven't got new ones yet. So just keep working with what you have and trying to go from there. And that's coming from DEQ. Just work with what permit you have.
Yeah. Any other discussion points?
If you guys need me to come to more council meetings to kind of go over or clarify anything, just let me know in advance. I've already spoke with Eric that if he needs me, I'm just a phone call away. I just need a little bit more time in advance so I can clear my schedule. But I'm more than happy to help you guys out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. One more call, any more discussion points, anything else for us to consider?
Eric, do you have anything for me before
So
this
it's
is
the,
done?
I know at the last meeting, it seemed like everybody was asking the whole, will places just pay the surcharge instead of fixing the problem? So is this resolution gonna have something in it that it's just gonna be surcharges, or is there gonna be verbiage that says they have to correct whatever?
Well, this one
is
actually
broken?
does. Ennis, town of Ennis may suspend utility services if it's over that, so.
Even, and charge a surcharge and then suspend services? You're gonna do
I
both?
think if you turn it off, you're not putting anything in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're just paying your base rate.
Okay.
You want to speak to how you spell it out?
I think it's meant to be an escalation if you don't get cooperation. I don't think it's meant to like try to put somebody out of business. It's just a way to escalate compliance, basically. Is how I read it. All three options.
So kind of what I've been speaking with Eric about is a pre-treatment plan, which would be to lower the BOD, TSS, and if any other requirements come down the road, those can be added to it, but it's to limit how much comes down to the lagoon as to keep that lagoon in working order. Because again, anything that overloads it or puts you out of violation is going to start costing the town money, either through fines or through having to do updates or excuse me, upgrades, or changing it from a lagoon to a mechanical plant, which is Eric and them are going to have to get recertified for a mechanical system. So it's not just a single one person out, but it's also to kind of get everybody on the same page of, okay, we need to limit this so we can protect our plant, if that makes sense.
And one more thing, I said I was done. Just to speak to that, in 2022, 23, 24, 25, Willie's Distillery, we distilled on grain 200 plus days every year. Whether it was whiskey or rye or whatever, these are the kind of the problem days that we're all talking about here. So 200 days, some of those 24 and 25, we're doing 7 days a week. But this year, in working with the city or talking with them, we have reduced that to 80 days of distilling on grain. So we've reduced that by half, more than half. And then of those, and we're running 5 days a week, and of those 5 days, 2 of those days we're off hauling everything. So we're reducing that 80 days, we're reducing that by 40%. So we're not just not doing anything. We've made some massive changes, and it's what 350 gallons a day of this problem child stuff that we are estimating, which is 70,000 gallons a year. Just in that, we've reduced that down to below 20,000 gallons a year. That doesn't account for anything else coming through the building, sinks and bathrooms and stuff like that. But so we aren't just picking on the wording of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
resolution.
no, we
Okay,
know
so,
that you've made
yeah.
tremendous
So,
strides.
we have made some.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that can also happen too with distilleries, breweries, and even restaurants, the cleaning material that you guys use for disinfecting, that can.
Well, I know we're crawled all over that, and I don't think one would carry it in quantity at all. That would be a concern for June. The last time he took a look, that's kind of what he came up with. So I remember that first day that the lagoon died, and I mean, he was looking everywhere all over town. But I mean, we don't have anything bigger than a gallon pail, so chemicals, I think we're relatively safe on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, if you guys need me for anything as far as going a little more in depth, Eric can give me a call. You guys can give me a call. I will be in touch with Eric over the next however long it takes to kind of clarify stuff. So, mean,
Yeah, I think.
you guys are doing everything you need to do as far as I can tell, but I can't really get into the politics and say you need to do this, this, and this. I can only advise, but it does sound like you guys are, actually being proactive.
Yeah, I think I might ask for, whoever would come up with a list of cleaners, cleaning agents that you might recommend. So we're taking this opportunity to communicate with every business in town. I used to be in the Navy and we used to dump some pretty nasty stuff out in the ocean, and I think we definitely, just educating individuals on that, I think.
When you know better, you do better.
Exactly, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Hey, I was in the Navy too, so I understand what you're saying because we kind of did the same thing. As long as certain people don't see it, it didn't happen, right?
Well, thank you, Mr. Paddock. Thank you, engineers from WET and Matt for coming. I think we had some good discussion and some good things to consider here. So let's just keep the discussion rolling.
Okay.
Well, thank you. All right, thank you very much. Our next agenda item, I'm actually gonna move some things around.
I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, no, not at all.
Do you still need me here or?
You're all set. No, we're wrapped up that agenda item. Thank you so much, Mr. Paddock, for joining us. We appreciate it.
No problem. Again, if you guys need me, just give me a holler.
Okay.
Eric has my card, so.
Perfect.
All right. You guys have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Good night. Okay, so I'd like to move to letter E, tourism grant application partnering with the Lions Club. Mr. Matt Barr, AKA Hondo, is here. Kind of nickname, I don't know.
Call sign.
Call sign, sorry.
Yep.
AKA
Also in the Navy.
He's fully represented. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what the Lions Club is, their project is doing, and then I'll come in with it.
So, Mayor and I were talking about this grant, so, being applied to, anyhow, like I say, I'm Hondo Bar from the Lions Club, current president right now, for a couple more months and I'm free. So we're gonna revamp the children's play area around Lions Club Park. So, there was swing set and other stuff down there. We're gonna redo that whole area with new apparatus, modern apparatus. We're gonna build a deck on that pavilion that sticks out kind of over that thing. So there's a sitting area. And we're gonna do some, exercise equipment along that, that berm that kind of goes back along the canal there. And so I have some handouts if you want to take a look at what we're kind of doing, we're planning for right now. So it's a pretty big project. We're looking for, a couple $100,000 of,
Yeah, sure.
if you put the draft master plan label at the bottom, then that's south, and everything else is north. And if you start over as far left as possible, there's a square probably says pavilion on it. And if you're familiar with the park, that's that log cabin thing, with the doors on it. And so everything kind of is based on that. And then if you look down toward past that path to your right, that's where the current swing set is, that area. So we're gonna do age appropriate apparatus in different parts. And so, the safety mechanism kind of is built to, protect the smaller kids. And then, as you get to be bigger kids and adults, you have less safety stuff, right? And the more activity stuff. And so you can see it kind of sprawls around that whole area with different, modern apparatus type stuff. And then exercise equipment for adults, plus seating areas in the playground for, and for picnics or whatever. So we're just trying to make that whole section off that pavilion looking, to the east, really pretty and really helpful to the kids. So that's our project. project. So we're currently contracting with a designer, which is where we got these drawings. And we're going to start fundraising for the rest of the money. The seed money is coming from the Lions Legacy Fund, which is approximately $100,000 that was left to us via the Thexton family. So the Lions clubs, you're allowed, I mean, you can donate to anything you want, but part of the donation mechanism is if in your estate, as you pass away, you can leave money to the Lions Club through these legacy funds. And so this is what that seed money came from. We've sat on this money and, it's been making interest, but we're almost 20 years.
Yeah.
We haven't spent it. And so kind of got in there and said, this is for something. We need to use this for something. It wasn't, some of the older members kind of like to keep things. I like to spend things. That, all the money we have is for the community.
I mean, the place had upgraded some since I was a kid, but not tons.
Right.
And I'm
the
all-
swing set's kind of, rusty, squeaky.
Yeah, this is awesome.
So we're doing this, the surface area, we're gonna do some fencing
Yeah.
for kids, and.
And with the other stuff going in there.
Right, and so we're gonna skate park,
park.
possibly a pump track,
What is your total budget?
Budget is stretched, the estimate would be
Estimate.
about 400,000-ish. It really depends on what.
Playground equipment's expensive.
It is.
And the labor, because you have to hire people that are certified,
Yeah.
so it will be pricey.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous expensive. For stuff, we find out. But, we're gonna try to reduce some of that with, our labor, because I bring a lot of labor, to the club. And so, but, it'd still be, $300,000-400,000. The ground material choices are kind of driving a lot of price,
Yeah.
because the rubber stuff is really expensive.
Yeah.
And we don't really want to put rubber stuff in the bottom because it floods.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not convinced that it's resilient. They say it's, resistant against ice, but I don't think they really realize what happens at the bottom of that park. Or it can happen. It didn't happen this year, but it can happen.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go with this, kind of a sand, like a special sand. I don't remember the name of it, but some special sand. Anyhow, some resilient, underlayment there, so kids don't get hurt. But, so that, what's that?
Not just wood chips anymore?
Not just wood chips. No, we're gonna get rid of the wood chips. And they're dirty and they rot and they're a pain in the butt. So kids throw them all over the place.
They go everywhere.
Right. So no, it won't be wood chips. And some of the upper areas, above that path to the northwest area, will probably be that rubber bottom.
Yeah.
Just because it's nicer. And we can do that. So we're still working through that stuff. So that's kind of the quick synopsis of what we're doing with this part of the park.
Yeah.
And then I think the mayor's gonna talk about the grant we want to partner with.
Yeah, I think I sent it out to you guys. It's called the TAG grant from the Department of Commerce. They get the money from the 4% bed tax, and it is specifically designed for rural communities that have a tourism need. And so, I thought, why don't we just, and it's for projects that are ready to go. So, I thought, after meeting with Hondo and Sherry, that, this kind of came through my email inbox, and I thought, why don't we take a stab at it for $75,000? So I don't know that we meet all of the requirements. One of the things I would love for the commission to do is the Montana Main Street program. If we can.
We started that though, right?
We did, we
Okay,
started
just
it
have to
back
get
when I was on the
Okay.
commission, yep. The reporting requirements are kind of a lot. Actually, Stephanie from the chamber just stopped in today, so I think you need to partner with,
The
the
chamber.
chamber.
I looked into it last year, getting back and I talked to the people, but we need a chamber partner.
Yeah, and
to do
Stephanie.
Montana Main Street project.
Yeah, so and Stephanie seemed open to it, so anyway, that's something for later that I think, opens a lot of doors to, little pockets of money, that we could be eligible for.
It's a great program.
It is a great program, it really is, I was kind of sad that it's one of those that it fell to the back burner, so, but anyway, I thought we would try, our best efforts on this grant and see what we can't put together. It's due on the 26th, I think, so we've got a lot of work. And actually, now that I know that you were in the Navy, maybe you can help me with some government So, I mean, the application, please,
That's not what I did today.
I'm gonna sing that all night.
If I have that shorthand technical language, that could help, because all the words are, I think it's like all the answers have to be under 200 words.
Yeah.
So we can be, get to the punch on that. So, so with the commit, I do not have the grant application committed or completed, I will say that. I am asking for the commission to, give their blessing on submitting an application for this project.
Absolutely.
So,
I have a question for Hondo. I don't see a bike rack in here. Not concerned about.
Can you buy one and put it there? Corey Hardy plaque?
Yeah, yeah.
it's not to
Well,
that
no, I mean,
detail.
seriously, if you think a bike rack is an important addition, well, I'll bring it up with the committee and, we'll add that.
Okay.
I mean, we just talk about it. I mean, it can't be that. I mean, we don't have 4,000 people here, so I mean, we probably need, 6 racks, 6 bikes.
Put it in there for Navy bikes.
No, I mean, yeah, good point. Otherwise, other bikes would be sitting on the ground like.
Yeah.
And what's your timeline? When would you like to,
We were looking to start this spring.
we're not gonna go on in the park this spring?
What's that?
Yeah, but why not? Get it all done. Make,
Yeah. I mean,
feel great.
We're breaking it down to phases because, so the main part is that what's currently the playground, and we're gonna start that. And then we'll kind of work our way. We're gonna start that in the deck. The deck seems to be very popular. And so, make that, so that's kind of where we're starting, then, get to the teenage to the adult stuff, as we get the funds coming in. Sure. So, again, we're in fundraising mode, looking at, I mean, who isn't in fundraising mode? I got 4 fundraisers going to the Lions Club. So, we're trying to space out our fundraisers. We're not asking the same people, over and over again. But yeah, so we're trying to get some different type of fundraising, donors, I should say, corporation type stuff. So,
Big money.
yeah, but I mean, we're working, like I said, we got projects all over the place, so trying to fundraise for, so.
There is.
Did that answer your question?
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. I was gonna ask on, I guess, trees, I'm sure you're gonna have a more specific, more complex design, potentially, or drawing.
Yes.
And this-
There's some color ones out there, but it's tougher to brief to, so.
Yeah.
I think I sent them to the mayor earlier, so if she
Yeah,
wants
I
to
will
send it
pass
to you.
those along, sorry.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, this is just something I can print on my home printer, and it makes sense,
Yeah.
without putting me in the poorhouse on me.
Yeah, Karina had approached the tree board about
Yeah.
like coming and doing your, like a tree planting session.
Yeah, that was for, the Arbor Day.
Yeah.
Celebration,
Celebration type thing, so, which is just kind of, together and separate, so.
Okay.
There is one thing, there is a 10% match required, so if the full grant was awarded at $75,000, it would be $7,500. To my understanding that the Lions Club would cover
Yeah,
that.
I had to pass it by the club, but,
Of course.
we'll take it from the money, from the
Yeah.
the legacy fund that we're already using for this.
Yeah.
And, because, if you win by 90%, that's a pretty good investment.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we have that money for that, so.
Okay, so great. So, yeah, so with that, I would entertain a motion to approve an application for the TAG grant through the Department of Commerce for the Lions Club renovation.
I move to approve.
Second.
Call the vote. Commissioner Hinkins? Aye.
Aye, sorry.
Commissioner Avenir? Aye.
I,
Okay, thank you. Motion passes.
I have one more question, for Hondo.
Call for all discussion.
Well, so I spoke about a guy he was actually offering, to draw, out a plan for the pump track, and you had mentioned pump track, and that it's kind of, I mean, me being a bicycle guy, it was kind of heartbreaking to me to just go straight to skate park. I'm not a skater.
I'm not a skater anymore. I don't want to break my bones, so. But I do like bicycles. But, yeah, I'll let you finish your question, but
Yeah, no, this just says master plan, you know, and I'm just like.
this is the master plan for the children's
Sure.
park renovation. The skate park is, it's its own entity. We did at one point approve a pump track that Justin Edge was gonna put in. Things get, when we understand. But so we did have land designated for that. I can't speak exactly how the borders of that land change with the pump track going away, and the skate park maybe growing. I have to get back into the books on that one. But there may be.
They were
Close.
They were really close. But, and I don't remember if the skate park got bigger or not, but the borders did change. And so if we were going back to the pump track, we'd have to go back down there and do another assessment. You show up the borders, and then, if you plan, said, this is your boundaries, can you put a decent pump track in there? I think the club would be, the club would be, in favor of a good pump track. We already were at one point, so it's not a stretch to say so.
Yeah.
Okay.
It just, it's too bad it didn't happen, but I understand, it's a lot of effort.
Yeah, if I may, I suggested to the guy doing the design work, I'm like, we have a sewer line running through there, so if we could incorporate, if you do asphalt, you could actually come in and dig asphalt up quite readily.
Fence report.
So,
Yeah, the sewer line does make it, there's a risk there. That we could damage whatever, you put in there, so. Because you have to get to that sewer line.
Yeah.
It's just part of the deal.
All right. That's all I had.
Great, well, thanks so much for coming.
Thanks for having me, and
Yeah.
I look forward, and I'm gonna get with you. I already got people trying to figure out how to get those letters.
That's another thing we need is letters of support from the community. They wanted to see it, that it's a community supported project geared towards tourism. That's the tagline.
It's not locals so much.
Yeah, so, but being that it is, yeah. Say it, yeah.
I'm just writing.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Welcome.
It was great to see you.
Anything else I can do for anybody? No.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks.
Sounds great. We'll be together.
The party.
Yep. All right, thank you. Okay, we got that one going down. Let's go to letter D, letter to Troy Downing's office. So, as I briefly mentioned, we got that letter from the US Treasury saying that we needed to pay $175,000 back. The Montana League went to bat for us and approached the Montana delegation, including Representative Troy Downing's office, and I think he was integral into us getting a letter back this week, or March 6th, actually last week, saying, never mind, you don't have to pay it back. So thankfully, the Montana League was great. The benefits of having them doing our financials is that Jody Rogers was able to get into the portal, sign into the portal system, fix the reporting errors, and that is why we're getting $175,000 back.
Awesome.
So with your approval, I would like to sign this letter to Troy's Downing office, just thanking them for their efforts.
Move to approve sending the letter to Troy Downing's office.
I second.
Call the vote. That would be you, Commissioner Abernathy.
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Okay. So this next item would be future projects and grants. Commissioner Hardy asked for this to be on the agenda, so.
I did.
Commissioner Abernathy, did you ask for it to be on there?
I did.
So,
When I was in the
so it's a
Navy.
kind of a capital improvement plan. You had you had, when I sent out the grant and said, does anyone have any ideas for a $75,000 grant?
Oh,
You
I guess I
responded
did,
with
yeah.
something, but those projects were gonna be substantially more than $75,000. So yeah, so I guess we can just say we wanna move towards a capital improvement plan. It's easier to get grants when you have projects that are planned out and ready and kind of on a shelf being waited and be like, yeah, we've got a project for that. Yeah, we've got a project for that. So
That's where I have a hard time with that. I mean, I think the Montana Main Street project is great and I
Yeah.
would love to do that, but how do you pick a project without it being a whole overhaul? Like a whole overhaul. of
Because
all
everything needs
downtown.
to be overhauled here.
Yeah, I mean, how do you not bring up the parallel parking again and all the other
Yeah.
things?
Well, you can do small things, just like Corey had mentioned, bike racks, for the people that are here during the summer that are riding bikes around. You can do smaller things than parking lots.
yeah, I think there are, so when Mark Fenton was here years ago, I think that was like in 2018, and did that walk audit, and Mr. Bancroft came and whatever.
Was that Main Street? Yeah.
It was kind of in junction with that, and it was just like, he did give small things that we could work towards, like without being a complete overhaul, like that little pocket park down by, the pharmacy. We actually have plans for that, so we could apply for money for that, so there's plans.
So
So,
you have plans? I thought it
yeah,
was
so
like
Cushing
12
Terrell, Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
No, Wayne Freeman from Cushing Terrell volunteered his time, and we have 3 sets of plans
There was stuff.
that
down.
he just sketched them out. I'll share them with you. And so we can pick a design and kind of go from there and be like, okay, yeah, we have this ready. So,
And Wayne's an architect.
he's a landscape
Wayne's
architect,
amazing.
and he was one of the co-owners of Cushing
Cushing
Terrell.
Terrell, yeah, let's go.
So he's since retired and just kind of did it as a favor, so, to the town of Ennis, so, which was really nice of him to do. So I will share.
Can we do like a dinner meeting thing where we powwow and try to make a year, like a whiteboard with hopes and dreams and
Yeah.
when we can, instead of like right here, right now, more like coming back to Main Street, coming back to Wayne stuff, coming back to tons of stuff that had happened and maybe kind of try to do a priority list
Sure,
or
yeah.
something.
Yeah, absolutely. We can do a work session. Kind of planning out where we're gonna be. This probably goes along with what Cody's planning out
There's so many things that we've touched on, and this is, I started coming at least 10 years ago to meetings, and then was on 8 years ago, and then there's so much that has been done or started.
Yeah. I think with change in administration and change, on the council priorities shift, right? And so that's why it's good
Every
to have
time.
these planning documents. I mean, honestly, the last time a new storage tank, last time zoning was in 1996. So it's like this 30-year turnover. It's like, okay, we're gonna keep going, and then now we really need to do it. So I think, yeah, we can certainly have a work session, and maybe we can, work on a capital improvement plan, which is for big things, but maybe we can incorporate some little things on how to do that too. Because there are little things, instead of maybe all of
This is
Main
awesome.
Street. Yeah, maybe instead of all.
Now's the time to do it too with the other stuff going in there, and they haven't, like, I think this is incentive.
Well, that's why when I saw that grant.
Incentive to do more.
Yeah, that's why when I saw that grant, I was thankful that, we had met and it kind of fits there. So anyway, okay, so we'll do a work session, stuff like that. So Mr. Walmart.
Why don't you try a capital improvement, like say, take the next 10 years for water meters and get a grant, and then get the entire community, and so that we all could appreciate the grant price instead of just certain individuals.
Yeah.
So 10 years, Eric says it's gotta be changed every 10 years, so it'd be he should have the numbers for it.
Yeah.
So you get
Yeah.
a capital improvement, which is a capital improvement for the community.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And we're gonna work towards that. I think there's so we had the number of meters that were at the discount we gotta figure out that math, that wasn't on that, but yeah, we will come up with a capital improvement plan for all of that, so thank you for that.
Well, appreciate it.
Yeah, you bet.
Yeah, that is what I read off earlier was, 2020 capital improvement. Well, it was actually, planning period was 2015 to 2020, that they were supposed to have acquired some property, for us to, spray our effluent, but then you have to include $2 million at least worth of piping out to wherever we purchased the field at.
Well, yeah, there has to be a certain distance, I think that's something, it just, we couldn't apply it, cause just to like say, even if the rancher was amendable, that was right there, it has to be a certain distance from the river that we can land apply it, so. Well, there's things to be looking at and, best practices, and maybe that is a long-range plan of 15 to 20 years is to not be discharging into the river. So, and setting that up, but, and Phillipsburg just did it too, and it took them 15 years. So that's just how long those projects take to put together and get the funding and all that kind of stuff. So, okay, with that, commission comments, Commissioner Ranson.
I don't have much, ability though. That was here last time?
Yes.
Monday, 3/16, 2:30 to 4:30 at the senior center is their next community chat. If you didn't see that online. I did try to invite some of the other people in the community I know that are disabled or whatever.
Very good.
The only thing I have is a question. Are we going to plan a second meeting every month going forward?
It's up to you guys. We kind of did it for claims to doing.
Which is fine. I just,
Yeah.
I like putting things
Yeah,
on.
I don't know. How do you feel about it? It's your meeting.
Yeah, I think it's
I
fine.
feel like every month you're gonna end up with stuff on it. Like this month, we have the language that needs,
Yeah.
I really honestly, even back to Blake days, we had 2 meetings a month, you guys. I almost feel like you end up having stuff.
So do we just?
And if there's one that we don't have anything, can we just come in and sign claims for you or something?
Yeah. Well, you'd still have to approve them. So yeah, so
Yeah.
I will try to keep the second meeting light.
Sorry, why is it that we have to approve claims? Isn't there any kind of like fudgy 5-day thing?
Fudgy.
So, no.
Shady
So in
stuff,
our,
did you
so
just
like
call
there's
that?
a claim there that,
Fudgy 5 days.
that it's due on the 15th. So,
Okay.
yeah, but
We
if
can't like
Yeah, we can just
pre-approve
say
that the month before.
no,
Yeah.
I don't think we should, yeah.
that's not how it works.
And honestly, we should have been doing this
But we're so
all.
many interest charges and all kinds of other charges.
I think we're wrapping that up on the class. And that's what we're trying to get to the cycle where we're ahead, that we're paying stuff on time and that there aren't no other interest charges. So, yeah. So,
So, yes, is what you're saying?
yes, that,
Okay.
that would be, if you are okay with it, I know everyone's busy. So, but instead of having, a 3 or 4 hour marathon session, then,
I'm fine, as I said, I'm just,
Yeah.
I like.
So
putting
make
stuff
it
on
as
the
calendar.
yeah, so let's just put it on the calendar. I'm also gonna try to work with the planning board to see if they would put their regular meeting maybe a week prior, instead of doing the second, they have been doing the second Tuesday throughout the growth policy process. If they would either move it to the first Tuesday or maybe the last Tuesday of the month, so then that way, if there is a recommendation that comes out of the planning board, you have enough time to review it, instead of, or review.
2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the last
This
Tuesday.
whole thing
Yeah.
is super-
Okay. Okay, so thank you for that. All right, thank you.
Going forward, I mean, I understand zoning things that come up, planning things that come up, but going forward, like, are we gonna make these exceptions for everybody? Like the planning board is having a special meeting, we're not really having a special meeting, but like, I don't think that sets a good precedence. I think
Yeah, so they're really not having a special meeting because they haven't had a meeting in March. They usually.
But they usually have a.
They cancel
What they usually do is on Tuesday.
They did through the growth policy, I think it was the getting a quorum issue. So, and that's why
Oh, they
there's a
couldn't.
meeting set for Sundays, because it was, is that correct, Susie?
Correct, yes.
Is that everybody? So we're required to have 4 people there. I mean, we're
And
7.
neither one of those two can vote.
Well,
He
he
can't,
can vote, you
okay.
can vote. She can't, but you have to have, so it's designated for 7, so a quorum is 4. So 4 people have to be there. No one can be absent. And so it's just been a little bit tougher. But I think if we can get on the, last Tuesday of the month and have them schedule it out and say, just plan for it, we may or may not have anything for you.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I think they were consistent because they had work on the growth policy. So, but that is what we'll try to do. Do you have any commission comments, Commissioner Higgins?
Negative, I will look more into the Montana Main Street project and try and help spearhead that.
That's great.
I like that.
I can give you the file on that, 'cause I did the same thing last year for us.
Okay.
I talked to them up in Helena. For quite a while, they were all excited about it, but we need a partner. And last year, the chamber was a little,
Is it changed?
was in.
Yeah, she's
Stephanie's there.
amazing.
Yeah, Stephanie's there.
Stephanie's amazing.
She stopped in today to see.
Okay.
So, yeah, now might be the time, but
And I think she's now been in the chamber position a year, where last year around this time, I don't even know if they had her yet.
And now
I
they
think she came almost like summertime.
And they're
So
moving
she's-
into their office too. which
Yeah,
will be
so she's
Yeah.
got a little bit more variance and knows what's going on a lot more now, so she is amazing. I hope there.
Commissioner Abernathy, do you have any comments?
I don't currently, it's tax season, so all I'm doing is taxes right now.
Yeah. Well, thank you for making the effort to join us this evening. We appreciate it. Commissioner Hardy.
I'm gonna say that I think we need to, while we're going through this, TSS BOD process, that we make a special effort to invite all businesses that might be affected, like actually reach out to them before every meeting, maybe even a phone call.
Are you willing to do that?
Sure. Help them.
Yeah, we can do it if you're willing to do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I will totally
the more
do it.
The more the merrier, that's fine.
You can only do so much to get people involved.
Well, and I don't know if you guys, I sent out the agenda to you, via text. So I think, and when I'm really trying to, I've made a concerted effort to make sure the packet is updated and stuff like that. That is my responsibility.
And ask us about agenda items.
Yeah, and ask you about agenda items and prepare that stuff. If you would help me by reaching out to those
I would
businesses.
love to.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you can
So-
take that picture that I send you and you can send it out to other people. I've posted it on Facebook. I've also posted, it's on our website. So if there is, something that I know that is important to somebody, I do my best to reach out to them. I'm not always perfect. I will let you know. You can sign up on our website when something is posted, but you have to opt in. You have to sign up on the website, so when a meeting is posted, you get an email, so then you can check that agenda. So I would encourage people, we can also, here's something else with our new payment portal system, we can put announcements on that. So, and that will go out to, but they have to opt into the notifications. It is kind of like, and they have to choose whether they want email or text. So citizens, so maybe you can encourage people to opt into those notification things. And then if they see something that they're interested in, they can attend, or they can just attend every meeting, like Carla and Myron, don't miss anything. Yes, the more information that we have, I'm hoping, with our website update, we'll have kind of like this scrolling thing, people just can hop on there and see what important projects we're doing, so.
Sure.
Trying to keep, because the more transparency and the more participation we have, all the better. So
Like a phone list even, I know not every single business in town, but
You can just get everybody's text and just send out a.
I feel like we already
mass-
Just start a group
We
chat.
already have it, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, I probably,
Yeah, you have a group chat
all
going.
right,
Okay,
yeah, no, I just think
good
it's,
job.
I mean, I met up with a client this morning that didn't know me from anyone, and, I went and talked to them about their bill, and everything was all good, and I got invited to a dinner afterwards, you know, but before it was not gonna be the case, you know, they probably didn't have anything good to say about me.
Yeah, sometimes it's just talking to people and opening a conversation.
Cody, are you gonna be at the, Sunday
Yes.
meeting?
Yeah,
Perfect.
me too.
You need me to bring
Can I come
treats?
too?
Yeah, you can bring, yeah. If there's.
Yeah, you have to be a little bit careful because you guys.
I know,
make
but
that
we have a
decision,
quorum.
So,
Well, no, 'cause
Should I
you-
not go?
So here's.
Why can't I know all the other?
So here's the thing. So, okay, so I was just at the mayor's conference, this leads right into my comments. So Dan Clark, when you're in the legislative realm, there's this, it's called ex parte communication.
Yeah.
Okay, and so that means that you're having outside discussion. When you're in the legislative format, you can talk to people, hey, what kind of ordinance we want to pass, da, 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 da. And that's what he called little e of ex parte communication. When you are serving on the planning or the town commission and you are voting on someone's project, you are serving in a quasi judicial role. And that makes it the big E of ex parte communication. And so really you really shouldn't.
Just listen to the presentation that's given to me here.
Yeah, it's probably the best route to go. And so then that way, there's no, oh, well, Christie said this at the planning board meeting or whatever. You're getting the information, you're discussing it with your colleagues here, and that's it.
the important thing is that you're all getting the same information
Yeah,
at one time, not bits and pieces.
And you can watch it on YouTube.
After your meeting here.
after your
After
meeting
you
here,
vote.
after
Yes.
ex parte communication. So you want to be all receiving the same information.
Yeah.
So, to make that decision, because you are serving in that quasi judicial role and not just the legislative role. Okay. So if someone says, you know, hey, I want to do this project downtown, come and chat with me, you really shouldn't be doing that. Okay. That's what Dan Clark said. Don't.
So how about even my communications with Hannah the other night?
Which shouldn't be.
Phone.
So there's a couple of things. Number one, you should disclose that at the planning board meeting, that you have had conversations. So.
And I sent it out in an email.
Perfect.
immediately.
Yep. And then you would also need to disclose that at this table.
Yeah.
As well, when it comes forward.
Yes, so when it's under consideration and on the agenda item, you can say that she reached out to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that would be up, yeah, and that would be up to you to decide,
Okay.
was it a conflict of interest or, you know, and
Yeah.
opens the option to your fellow commissioners to make that call too,
Sure.
so.
Whether I cross some lines or
Yeah.
So, my comments are, I went to the mayor's conference in Livingston, or the executive forum, that was put on the Montana League, Cities in Town, Local Government Center and MMIA. That was interesting. I got to sit next to the mayor from Phillipsburg, Baker, Holstrip.
do they have a resort tax in Phillipsburg? Yeah.
No, because the mayor didn't want one. That mayor did not want one. It was interesting. But I will have to say how lucky we are to have water wells. I believe it was Holstrip that gets their water from the Yellowstone River and it's piped 34 miles
Wow.
before it gets there. And then it's treated by the coal plant there, and then it comes to the citizens. So
Wow.
as the coal plant is making plans to come offline, they have to figure out how they're gonna get water. So they have some bills through the legislature right now, for their stuff. So we are very fortunate, to be where we're at with water, and even Roundup as well, who I sat with, and they are just getting a 20-year project of a pipeline of water into Roundup. So it's a big deal. So we are very fortunate in that capacity. So what else did I learn there? I believe I shared with you the little PowerPoint. I don't know if you guys saw that email. The Montana property tax that was passed in the legislature. I'm so glad Brenda's gonna be going there, and that we have Jody and Jody from the Montana League. It's really interesting. I think page 11 was a spreadsheet on how the tax burden is going to shift basically to commercial properties, and then high dollar single family homes as well. The tax rate for single family primary residences was 1.35%. It is coming down to 0.76%. So that is a reduction of 43%. So we do not hit our taxable value until August. So we just want to be, I'm going to be working closely with Jody and Jody on how to estimate our revenues, because, so I don't know, you had to file for your homestead exemption. You haven't done that. You have until March 20th to do so. And if you operate long-term rentals, you have until March 20th to do so. Yeah, I don't know how many, what our housing stock really looks like, how many are primary residences, how many are short-term rentals versus how many are long-term rentals. So that could potentially have a significant impact on our revenues.
You think go down?
It's gonna go down.
It's gonna go down. Our taxes went down last year. I don't know about yours.
Mine did on the commercial building a little bit, but not tons.
Yeah, so if you take a look at that spreadsheet, it says by year, because they're implementing it by a couple different years. Are they gonna change it in 2027? Maybe, so so it's not like years past where we had a generally good idea, typically house values don't go down, so you make a really good educated guess. I'm just letting you know that is coming. So we need to be prepared for that. What else did I learn? Workers' comp, as we know, MMIA is winding down. So we have a decision to make on that. Do we want to ride it out, or do we want to withdraw from the pool? So that's our big decision. Because of the way, because we're a self-funded pool, right? And so they're gonna stop taking claims at whatever date. But if by the time those claims end and there's money left, they will disperse that money to the remaining members. Or do we wanna remove ourselves from the pool?
Ride it out. We've got a pretty good record, clean.
Yeah.
Do we? We had a work comp claim not that long ago.
Well, we've had 2
2, 3,
4 years. We've only had 2 and 4 years was the last. So that is what more of the conversation is. Of course, we're gonna be having to get new workers' comp insurance. That's just fine, but do we want to withdraw from the pool? So I'll send you.
So you don't have to do both. You don't have to do both. You can get new coverage and then still have MMIA.
We'll have, you're still a member of the pool. They're not gonna be offered any additional.
You have to pay for it?
I don't believe so. I think that is just.
And why wouldn't we write it?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know, maybe
If we had to
So
cancel.
I will talk with them, get more details, if there's some kind of payout now to do that, or do we just stay in? So, also learned that, once the skate park is done, it's not gonna cost us any additional money, but we need to do a rider for, the insurance. It has to be built by designers. So when people are like, oh, my cousin Teddy can come down, and lay the concrete. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with that because of our liability insurance. Just like the playground, it has to be installed by professionals because of those type of things. So trying to think of what else I learned there. It was nice to meet with people, and hopefully local government center has their stuff full. I think there is a virtual training. There is also a municipal institute in May. Brenna's gonna be going to that. That's when the clerk school is. But they also have, quite a bit of stuff for, elected officials. So if anyone wants to go, consider that. I will be actually out of town that week, so, I will be, not available, so we're gonna have to, we might have to work some stuff
Did we
out.
get an email with the dates or no?
Yeah, it's the first week in May.
Typically, that's what it is.
Yeah, I think that's the one I went to, Nikki.
Yeah.
Okay.
So and they do have breakout sessions by different stuff, so that's a thing, okay. All right, so we already talked about, we don't have to pay $175,000 back to the US Treasury. That is good. Payment portal's going in, new website, April 14th. Our policy manual, I will make one more call to please get any,
Oh, okay.
review the policy manual. I have
It's
made,
so hard to stare at a computer for that long.
yeah, well, if you want to print it out, we can print it out.
Do you have hard?
Yeah, I can print you a copy, for
I
sure.
was just wondering if there was hard copies of it.
Yeah, I can print you a copy, because it's easier to go through.
Way easier than on the
Yeah,
computer.
sure, and then you can
I'm not a
make
computer
notes.
person.
So, a lot of it, you know, is boilerplate.
Uh-huh.
Based on what MMIA, I actually didn't put it, I was gonna put it on the agenda, but then I did it because I sent one to Derek Shepherd at MMIA to kind of get his
I remember that
take
day.
on. And to take on it, because if they approve your policy manual, you look, that you have their blessing, you know, that kind of stuff, so, which is good. Let's see. Now, for the.
Water rates.
Yeah.
Are we gonna ever do those?
So those are based on, yes, so we
Oh,
will
we
do
need
that.
rural water to come. Say it again.
No.
Say it again.
No.
10 years later.
No, it's not rural water. It is actually the bond council based
Okay.
on this
But that's
project.
still in the works.
Well, if you let me finish, I will get to that point. So CDGB grant. Last Friday, I got an email from the Department of Commerce who administers the CDGB grant. And they had said that when they considered our project, even though we had already built the well house project and didn't apply to CDGB until the well house was being bid out, they considered it all as one, because that's how it was described in the application, but at the same time, it was separate. Like when they laid out the budget, it was a separate item. You know, they told them a status update when Great West filled it out, hey, this is where we are at the well house. It's been bid out, this project, you know, kind of going, but it was, CDGB considered it to be as one project instead of two. And so there were a couple components that we didn't do. So there was not an environmental review and there was not a section stipulated in the bid contract that you had to put the bid language when you put it out to bid. So I got an email today saying that we can either ask for them to amend the scope of the project, or we could rebid it again, which we've already signed a contract, so I don't know how we do that. And then just before the meeting, Colette let me know one of the ways that we could do is actually withdraw our CDGB grant, get our land acquisition set, ready to go, and then reapply for CDGB. So.
Isn't there like periods that you can like apply for that though, or can you apply at any time of the year?
No, I think it's a set time. It's usually in the fall, I want to say.
Yeah, they used to do it 4 times a year, now they're down to like 2. It just closed. They'll review them in March. It closed in January.
Yeah.
They haven't posted the next date.
Yeah.
So,
Didn't we already get denied from one then?
Well, we got denied, and then we went back this fall and said, hey, we're gonna take another stab at it. And then we got awarded. So it just doesn't make sense because we were already doing the well house project.
Yeah.
We had already kind of started on it before we even applied. But I guess they said in our ranking that they were taking into consideration, you know, the project as a whole. And so we didn't do these two things.
But they didn't do their due diligence.
Well, no, Great Western didn't do their due diligence on this. They're the,
I don't know, no, because it does say in the application, because I asked, I was like, did you just copy and paste? And so
Did you,
then
well,
we're
did you
done.
ask, did you screw this one up?
Yeah, I said, did you copy and paste? And the way the application written is, it does say in the summary, it does say, hey, this is where we're at with our well house project that's out to bid, da, 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 da. The budget clearly shows that only CDGB money was only being applied to the tank project. And so,
That doesn't make
so we have a couple different options on how we want to proceed. So I wasn't able to read Colette's email.
Can we get our money back from Great West for applying for it?
That would be my next question.
All of it and then some?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that would be my next question. If we have to give it back, Great West needs a little blood in the water on it.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
so I don't know if we have to have a call on that with Colette, because she was like, Craig said, oh, we can rescind our award and then go back out, because it wouldn't be up for construction this year anyway. We don't have the land secured. I did have a meeting with those landowners, this week. It seemed to be very positive, but no determination was made, because we were missing one of the only one of the owners could be there, not both of them. So, but I will say that conversation was positive. So that leads into water surcharge rates. They are required for 2 of the grants, CDGB, and I believe that M7 grant that we received. So how water rates and the target rate is determined. It's kind of like going to a car loan or going to get a mortgage. They want to make sure that you have enough money to pay for it. So essentially, the bond council figures out, once the bids come in, this is how much this is how much money you're gonna need to spend on this new water system. What does your income need to be to make those payments? And so that's what the bond council does. They figure out the math and they say, your water rates need to be this. So
State council,
it's called the bond council.
is it a statewide project? Or-
Yeah, it's from, well, no, it's like this independent,
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
it's the bond council guys. I don't know. They were on a phone call with 16 other people when I was on one. And this is your bond council. They figure out the math and they figure out what your debt service is. They figure out what your income needs to be. So that's what that rate is designed. So they know that if you're taking out these loans, that you can pay it back. That's what it, so water rates, we won't know until,
The council hears us? No, I'm just kidding.
no,
Until we know how much money we have and what we're.
well, how much each project is gonna cost. So we will not know until we get a bid on the tank project.
So we can't, in the meantime, start raising water rates, because
You
we
could.
talked about it for 10 years.
We could raise, we could start and then.
It's true.
But we need to start.
Okay, so if you guys wanna start, then that's fine, we can do
Because
that.
then we're just looking, if we're a year from now raising them, and we could have raised them a little bit right now instead of doing a huge jump come a year from now, because literally we've been talking about this for at
Okay,
least 8
that's
years.
fine, just know that there's gonna be, we could raise them partially now, but just know,
There's gonna be a more significant raise,
you wanna get yelled at once or twice.
probably 3 times.
So, and,
Yeah.
so, cause each rate hearing requires a hearing and stuff like that, so that's where we're at, but
It might be easier to raise rates once we have the project
Initial.
in numbers. We can say, look, I hate to raise these rates, but
But we have to, because
this is gonna cost us X, so we have to
now we have to.
raise the rates. to
and then they'll
that.
be able to see the project.
I think that's why we keep pushing it down for the last 8 years, is because we.
That might be an easier sell.
Yeah,
But still, how far out is that? 2 years?
We'll be at 15 years, but the water rates will go up then,
so, yeah, so,
one time. But it'll be $50 a month at $250.
well, and we are paying less than half of the average of communities our size.
I know, that's what scares
And
me.
it's been for,
Is that
so
right?
we're, benefiting from water rates, and our kids are gonna have to pay $300 water rates because.
Yeah.
So I will put that on the agenda if you want it on the agenda to do it, but just.
It's a pain in the ass.
Well, no,
Because the hearings and everything.
it's fine, it's the government process. There's
Yeah,
no
which is
problem
the
doing it, but it's just a matter of,
But once we pay them once, then is it like a resolution where we can make it easier? We have to go through the same process every time.
Same thing.
Transparency, it should be the same thing.
yeah.
You don't need time enough to know how much it's
So,
So we talked to Colette on the 28th.
well, let me talk with Colette about CDGB, and I need to know from you that you are confident in the decisions that we make of how to go forward with CDGB. Do you have any input on that? I know you do, so.
I didn't know you could make them pay, but.
Oh, are you kidding?
Well, I mean, we paid her
Hire
what, 10
somebody
grand
else.
to apply and administer this grant. That's what we paid for. It was for.
And you paid it
I mean,
twice.
I don't know how to put in for grants. That's their job. They're the experts in the state at applying for and administering grants.
Okay.
And this one went sideways. So
I've been fired twice this year. Expect a third one, so it's no big deal.
It's only March.
I would hope
You're acting one
the
of them.
nation was more than, oh, just give it back and we'll start over. And charge us
Yeah.
another 10 grand to do that?
Do you want me to go through and let's just,
Yeah, no,
here, let me go, do you want me to read the,
Yes.
okay, let me pull these up.
That's insane.
Okay, so, and I can. if
But
I
maybe
plug
they'll
this in-
give it to us. Maybe they'll give us the grants again. I don't know.
Okay,
That's gonna be
So-
Colette's job.
okay, so, and I'm sorry, I should print this out for you. Thank you for your recent communication. Okay, at this time, Commerce cannot consider the tank as a standalone project. The CDGB application, I sent this to you guys,
Yeah.
identified wells and the storage tank as components of a single project scope. The project was evaluated and ranked against other applicants based on that scope. Because of this, Commerce must administer the project based on how it was presented in the application. If the town pursues amending the CDGB scope of work, this would need to be submitted as a formal request for a change of scope. This request must be provided via letter sent by the mayor on town letterhead, blah, blah, blah. Since the application presented the wells and the tank as a single project, any request to separate them must demonstrate that tank and wells are entirely independent of each other, or their wells would remain subject to CDGB requirements. Please note that the approval of a reduction in scope is not automatic and will be evaluated based on program requirements and impact on the original application and award. So it sounds like it can be, we might not get as much money. Okay. Alternatively, the town may choose to pause all construction-related activities and complete the required environmental review process for the project. Once the environmental review has been completed and approved by Commerce, with Commerce executing the HUD form, blah, 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 they can move forward. Also, the current bid advertisement did not include section 3. And to ensure compliance, the project will need to be rebid. And then it talks about if we go ahead without that, it can be noted as a finding in the CDGB grant, which potentially means if we apply for CDGB in the future, it would be a strike against us.
Oh.
So,
We
that,
didn't expect to get it anyways. We had like a 30% chance of getting that grant.
yeah, so,
because
but we
of-
applied for it twice.
Mhm.
So, remember, so we applied for once, we're denied. I think it was another $15,000.
It was.
Bet on yourself.
But I convinced us to do this.
Yeah. And, see, and then Colette says, I think we should respond to ask for them to amend the scope. And there was a letter, Colette drafted a letter saying, can we amend the scope? And then.
Has she admitted to like, oh, sorry,
This language that wasn't in our bid.
Application, they filled out our application
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
And so, and I will say it was presented separately in the summary of where we were at. It was presented separately in the budget, the line items. It specifically said that CDGB was only going towards the tank project. However, maybe when they were talking about the project, they were talking about it in tandem. And so, so at 6:36, Colette sent a message that said, I was just visiting with Craig and he had another idea. If Commerce won't allow the town to change its scope of work, we could potentially turn the CDGB grant back, move on with the well and revise the CDGB application again, to remove language about the wells and likening to resubmit in October. We'd still be looking at securing land and getting a design ready so construction can happen in 2027. So it really wouldn't, so basically.
Another 15.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, let's get some.
No.
And then, we turn it back and now we give them another 15 and apply again?
Yeah, so what I would like, I think I'm understanding this, is we would first like to say, hey, we would like to reduce our scope of work. And if they are not willing to do that, we can rescind the CDGB application and then reapply in October. As far as a construction schedule, we would probably be on the same schedule. So,
But if we rescind, do we get a refund? Like, how does that get addressed with?
I don't know, I will talk with Colette, and express my disappointment.
Yeah, because we're not working with a whole lot anyways.
Yeah,
So the people that are putting in the well house, that is what we're talking about right now. That's gonna like disappear.
No.
No.
So that is if we choose option C,
Right.
if we went to rebid. But I don't know how we would back out of a contract. We've already signed the contract with.
And we have a deadline for ARPA funds.
And we have a deadline for
Yeah,
ARPA funds,
yeah.
which is $435,000.
Yeah,
So,
Who's managing this project for us?
yeah, Great West, right?
so I guess the question is, so here we go. We have $750,000 of CDGB grant money hanging out here, right? We could, well, we do. We could go back and do all the things and we can get $750,000 of CDGB grant money secured, whatever. We have $434,000 of ARPA money that have to be used by June 30th. So do we take the risk of, essentially giving up the ARPA money to hold on to the CDGB money? Or do we hold on to the CD? Or do we hold on to the ARPA money, hold on to the ARPA money and then go back for this, ask them first. So maybe they'll be really generous and maybe we can make a few phone calls and say, we would really like this to happen. And then, or maybe it gets reduced by some, maybe the award amount gets reduced by some.
Or I look at everything as an opportunity. Can we not, so we've got a problem on our hands. Can you not go to the property owner and just be like, here's the deal, like, we're in dire straits right now. We need to acquire this property.
It has nothing to do with it.
No.
It has nothing to do with it. That has nothing to do with it. It has to do with the timing of, so they're saying for CDGB, they kind of looked at the project as a whole. We had moved forward with the well house project. We did not include bid language in the advertisement, nor did we do an environmental review for the well house, because it was this phase one.
Hurry up and go for the ARPA money.
Yeah.
On the ARPA funds.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that is what, so we didn't do those things. So, but to fulfill the CDGB requirements, those things need to be done. So do we pause our well house project, potentially lose out on our ARPA funding because our extensions have been exhausted there? Or, and so we could fulfill the requirements for CDGB, or do we retain ARPA, stay the course on the well house, and then essentially reapply for the tank? If they will not, first, we're gonna ask for them to adjust our scope, amend our scope of work, reduce it. And then if that does not work, we
Then we'll have to reapply.
rescind and then reapply.
What is the likelihood of finishing this project by June? I mean, it's March.
The well house?
The well house is gonna
Should
be-
be good. Yeah, they're confident that they're gonna be.
They wouldn't have bid it if they couldn't.
Yeah, so they're confident that they'll do that.
The money needs spent. The project don't have to.
That's good.
We know, yeah,
That's
we know,
covered.
yes, agreed.
Yes.
7 years, 6 years.
What do you say? He said the money needs to be spent, the ARPA money needs to be spent. We definitely agree with that, it's just. Yeah, timing.
I don't know, I kind of feel like the ARPA money's already there, so we
Yeah.
just move forward
Move
with
forward
that.
and do it.
We don't want to mess that up, so we just move forward. And then the other portion is on the storage tank, yes, I know it's leaking, and yes, I know it needs to be redone.
I think we approved one when I exited last time.
However,
4 years ago.
However, we haven't increased our water production either. So are we building are we looking to carry around a 20-gallon bucket when we only have a gallon worth of water? Do we secure our water first and then go for the storage tank? So.
Why didn't we think like this like 2 years ago when we started rolling on this stuff?
I think it was 4. We put the tank before the water because the tank was an emergency.
Yes, it
Yeah.
was, because.
And it
that was
does
the
need to
at the time.
it does need to be repaired. So, I mean, that's definitely a need.
This
So-
happens because, let me just step in. There were 3 years in a row, divers in there to repair leaks.
Yes, sorry, I remember that.
I think we move forward with the ARPA funds already half spent anyway. We're already moving that direction. We've got a contract. We go back on the CBGB, whatever the heck that stupid thing is, and ask them to reduce the scope of work. And if not, then we need to have another hard discussion.
Okay.
I mean, that would be my vote.
Okay.
I mean, that's the only thing we can do.
I think that's
makes sense.
realistic. That makes sense.
All right. Okay, so we are just moving forward with the well house. We're gonna do our pre-construction project.
That Department of Commerce, right?
Yep, that's the Department of Commerce.
Got some strings there.
I don't.
No, it's Department of Commerce.
So I would just,
Department of Godfather Commerce.
So we are moving forward, just so we're all abundantly clear. Moving forward with the well house, we're asking them to reduce the scope. We will send our letter to reduce the scope. If they will not do that, then we will reapply and we'll rescind. Well, then we'll have a hard discussion.
Yeah.
Once we get a determination from them.
Exactly.
Okay. Perfect.
And
Then
but make
stand
sure-
by for a third meeting to do this.
make sure you forward how displeased, if they could kick us back like 30K, that'd be great
Yeah,
for the applications on these.
Yeah.
We'd appreciate that.
because it seemed like just having the language in there was like
Was like
no big
part
deal.
of the administration of the bid.
Yeah.
That we paid for.
Yeah.
Great, should have this.
All right, I technically reviewed the project, or the application. I think the application was approved at some point.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to apply for a stinking grant. That's why we paid the money.
So, all right,
Move to adjourn.
Sorry, second.
Too early? Were you
Yeah,
telling me?
I already said it 5 minutes ago. I'm trying. Bye, Myron.
Sorry
Bye, Carla.
meeting that attended because of
Cody, you
that
want an M&M?
last little bit. Thank you for
You're
coming.
over
Sorry
here.
it was so long.
It's okay. Just wait. What's that?
Just wait until this.
I changed from one inner shirt to the next shirt.
You finished watching the
Did
game?
not look good today.
I don't know anything about drywall. He screws up the
No, I
drywall.
did a lousy nut job.
And then.
No,
he
that's
charged
fine.
me again to come.
Thank you so much for doing that.
Eric just said that.
Where I'd be like, Corey, you need to come fix your damn driveway.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
But the sound wasn't.
No,
It might be because it's over here and not in the set. Okay, can you stop recording?
What's that?
Yeah.